In this video I just want to take a quick look at two Latin phrases which you might be thinking, what the hell, he's lost it completely now, but they're phrases which might come in handy for you at some stage in the future. They're fundamental principles of civil law. And they might in particular be of use in an employment situation where you find yourself in a disciplinary procedure. Okay, the first phrase is nemo iudex in causa sua. That means nobody, no man, nemo, is a iudex, is a judge in their own cause. This essentially means that if you're in a disciplinary procedure and the person who makes a complaint against you or finds issue with you in relation to your conduct or performance, that person carries out an investigation and that person then goes on to make the decision, for example, to dismiss you. Well, then there may be a lack there, fundamental absence of fair procedures, because the person is being a judge in their own cause. Nemo iudex in causa sua. Now clearly in big organisations like banks and like the civil service and like the Department of Agriculture, various government departments, on post, financial institutions and so on, they clearly have the resources to ensure that there's no crossover between, for example, an investigation and a disciplinary procedure. But in a smaller operation where you might only have 1, 2, 3 employees, then it's much more difficult to have the two procedures, the investigation on the one hand and the disciplinary procedure on the other hand, completely separated by clear blue water. That can be a difficulty, and to be quite frank, the courts have recognised it. But in general, the phrase still stands. Nobody is a judge in their own cause. However, you do need to temper that with the fact, the recognition that in smaller organisations there is going to be a problem there insofar as they won't have the resources or the HR resources to completely divide the investigation or fact-finding process on the one hand and the disciplinary process on the other hand. So that may be something that you can look at in terms of an appeal, or if you were, for example, unfairly dismissed. The other phrase is audi alterum partem. That means hear the other side, hear the other party. So again, in an employment situation, in a disciplinary situation, then clearly there's one version of events, there's allegations being made against you if you're an employee. If you're an employer, clearly you are the one who's making the allegations or bringing up these issues. But the other side, the other party, is entitled to be heard. So they're entitled to put their version of events, and only then, after they have had the opportunity to put their version of events, should a decision be arrived at. So that's the two Latin phrases. It might come in useful at some stage, but whether you're an employer or an employee, nobody's a judge in their own cause. Nemo iudex in causa sua, and audi alterum partem, hear the other side. In other words, listen to their version of events. Hope you find this useful. If you do, please give it the thumbs up down below, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you find it useful. There's a lot of videos on it now about law in Ireland.